Greetings everyone, this is Dr. Farooq Rafiq Ahmed and I'm currently working as an assistant professor at the Department of Pharmaceutics, Faculty of Pharmacy, University of Karachi. I'm also serving as a student advisor at the same faculty for the last 2 years. I did my Bachelor's of Pharmacy in 2006 from University of Karachi and Masters of Science in Material Science and Engineering from Gwangju Institute of Science and Technology, South Korea. I completed my PhD in 2018 from University of Karachi, where I'm currently serving. And I am very glad to share my views regarding my profession of pharmacy and pharmaceutical sciences with Mr. Raza Abbas.
Greetings everyone, I am very happy to share the third episode of Career Conversations, a global initiative I took a few weeks back, and today I'm really privileged to have a very esteemed guest. I would like to welcome Dr. Farooq Rafiq Ahmed. Pharmacy. So if I'm a high school student, what is pharmacy? Just let us very briefly what pharmacy is all about. What are the emerging trends in pharmacy? What is the way forward? And what should students and their parents that are listening to this very informative interview, what should they keep in mind that this field, how fastly is this field growing, not just in Pakistan but across the globe?
I would say that pharmacy is basically an integral part of healthcare system. So there are basically traditionally three pillars of healthcare system. One is the physician or a surgeon, and the other one is the nursing department, and the third one is the pharmacist. So the pharmacist traditionally is considered someone who is specialized in medicine, whether he is or she is associated with the development of those medicines, research and development, or could be associated with the pharmaceutical care and services delivery directly to the patients, which is usually seen at the point of care pharmacies, in the primary healthcare setup, or in the hospital setup, or in the community setup. So pharmacist comes in contact with the patients directly at many places. So that is the traditional pharmacy. If I speak in terms of the landscape, global landscape of pharmacy, we could see that in mostly in US and Canada and European countries, what pharmacist is expected to do is after his or her 4 years or 5 years of graduation, respective to the regulatory area in which he is earning the degree, he is supposed to go into the community or health hospital setup or any other setup where he could provide his services of pharmaceutical care directly to the patients, in association of course with the other healthcare professionals. But traditionally speaking, pharmacy in certain countries has evolved with respect to the needs of those areas. For example, in certain countries, especially in the developing ones, the pharmacists are, although in developed countries also, but especially in the developing countries, pharmacist role in the community setup is not very much elevated as of yet, although it's rapidly progressing. But the traditional areas in which the pharmacists after their graduation were working were the industrial pharmacy, in the manufacturing of medicine. Of course, in the developed countries also, if we say, let's say Australia, US, Canada, in European countries, pharmacists are also taught about how to develop medicines, how they can engage themselves into the pharmaceutical industry and different specialities. But primarily, they are expected to work in the community. As far in the developing countries are concerned, and especially with respect to Pakistan, the role of pharmacist in the past 40 to 50 years has been majorly seen in the industry, whether they go into the manufacturing of medicines, or they either go into the regulatory aspects of pharmacy, or we have seen so many pharmacists undertaking the profession of marketing and sales even, although that is not the primary responsibility of pharmacists. But somehow the courses which are being taught in the curricula are well suited for a person to make him adapt to the different challenges of the society. So this is a general overview of pharmacy.
Thank you for sharing a very wonderful insights and a very broad vision of what pharmacy is all about, not just in Pakistan but globally. Which subsectors do you believe, as a person that is practicing pharmacy in the academia, that is growing?
If I talk about my own country, first of all, Pakistan, so I would like to say that I'm very delighted to see the expanding role of pharmacists in the last 10 years. Back then, when we graduated, we could hardly see any good opportunities in the community setup, which was the primary expectation of pharmacists. But now, over the years, many entrepreneurs have come into the market. The market driving forces have garnered enough financial projections that now those entrepreneurs are offering very good opportunities for pharmacists as well. So now we are witnessing an expanding role of pharmacists, especially in the community setup, and we are witnessing the expansion of chain of pharmacies and community pharmacy setup. Recently, we have seen Davago establishing their enterprise of chain of pharmacy, Al Khidmat, and Mary Stopes have recently entered. And even if you go to Punjab, there are lots of chain of pharmacies of entrepreneurs providing pharmaceutical care services to the patients, just mirroring what is done in the UK or Australia. And other thing is that if you talk about in the global perspective, where pharmacy is being practiced in terms of its traditional expectations, I have seen recently that the point of care setup and the technological innovations being brought into those areas is highly appreciated. For example, recently I was attending a seminar organized by United States Pharmacopoeia on 3D printing of tablets, and they gathered around so many respectful innovators and market leaders in that area, and they were just highlighting the issue that 3D printing, that is a value addition in the form of personalized medicine. So they were exploring how the 3D printing of tablets could add value to the personalized care of patients in the community setup. And I see tremendous role of Internet of Things and AI into that area, because mostly the processes which were redundant previously, which were used to perform by pharmacy technicians and even by pharmacists in absentia of a pharmacy technician upon expectation of the load on the pharmacy, now they are being replaced by robotics and the AI solutions. So now we have automated dispensing robots similar to the role of ATM machines. So we could refill our prescriptions right then. But again, the thing is, as I would like to put in here, as Jack Ma, the founder of Alibaba, had put in, that don't consider these technological advances as your competitor, because if you want to compete, if you start to compete with a computer, you will fail. But if you start accommodating those technologies into your profession and start investigating how better you can use them in order to advance your area, definitely they will be very much helpful for you.
A very valuable and a very growth mindset perspective. Thank you for sharing that. Now coming to students, those students that are in their high school, in their 11th or 12th grade, and are listening to your wonderful interview, what specific skills should they have in high school that will make them eligible to apply for pharmacy, not just in Pakistan, but globally as well? Which subjects should they be proficient in?
Again, I will start with my own country. The basic requirement to be eligible to apply for pharmacy school is basically you must opt for pre-medical studies at the K-12 level, and then in the global perspective, definitely you have other opportunities also. For example, even if you are not willing to undertake undergraduate studies in pharmacy right after your high school, you may take any other sciences, and then you can have a long path to the pharmacy schools, which is unfortunately not in our area. But again and again, you must have a prerequisites of pre-pharmacy subjects such as biology. Somewhere it is distributed as zoology and botany, and you must have a good command on chemistry, because chemistry has a lot to do with medicines. So these are the primary subjects, and of course I would also say mathematics, because the role of mathematics is expanding enormously in the applied sciences, and especially in the pharmaceutical sciences. And with the convergence of the different fields which we are witnessing in the last 10 years, that so many fields are encroaching each other's area and new innovations are coming along those paths. So what I see is the basic high school students should have a great interest in mathematics as well, beside the chemistry and the prerequisites of biology.
Wonderful. How important is temperament to be successful in pharmacy? Your personality, your positive attitude, your flexibility, your cognitive flexibility? How important is behavior?
I would, for a high school student, I would put all these things into just one terminology that is called perseverance. So if you have perseverance
Personality.
in your personality, then I think the next era is for you, because with the perseverance you start to learn patience. You have patience to see things with different perspective. That is the prerequisite for critical thinking, which is required as a soft skill recommended by World Economic Forum as well, and the top minds of the current era. Along with perseverance, you must have, as Warren Buffett puts in, the integrity first of all, the intelligence and energies. So if you have the combinations of these or 3 or 4 things, and the foremost priority should be given to the integrity. Because if you are not an integral member, if you could not become an integral member of any team, you don't have a very bright option in future, because independent intelligence, even superior to the so-called the greatest minds of 21st century, in the current context you cannot work alone. You have to work in teams. So you should have a good understanding of how the team works. You should have the ability to lead the teams in difficult circumstances. You should be able to own your mistakes so that you can learn from them and you can then move forward. And this is the way for a mind who is in high school. I think this is enough. And with perseverance and then one important thing is that as the time is progressing, we are having depleted resources. So one must also look towards the frugality, how efficiently we have to convert our resources into potential output. So these are the things which I would like to suggest to students, generally speaking, not just in pharmacy, because traditional pharmacy's boundaries are getting obscured with the encroachment of other sciences as well. So now I'm looking towards the innovation whereby several different fields are required and several different discipline members are required to put in their efforts in order to innovate one thing.
Wonderful. A lot of insightful ideas, robust teamwork, excellent interpersonal skills, the willingness to persevere when the going gets tough. So on that note, some final words of inspiration for the people that are listening to you across the globe. Few words that you would like to share with the viewers, with the parents, with the students that are entering this field.
I would just say that I would add to my my answer to the previous question that recently I was enlightened by a research report published by Harvard Business Review that we used to hear from our elders all the time that you must have passion to pursue something rather than passion, because if you follow just passion, you sometimes get bogged down by the obstacles and hurdles along the way. So what they have suggested through research, that those people who have a purpose in their life, they somehow get the energies to persevere, and all along the way they help to build the teams for a greater purpose. So you must have a purpose to serve in your life. If you have, and then this purpose could itself become a success, and we all agreed upon that there is no agreed definition of success in the real world. Everybody has their own definition. But I recently heard a top scientist in my field, Ali Khadim Hussaini, and he said that success is something which you prospectively look into a retrospective fashion. So for example, if somebody is at end of his age and he has served all his life in a particular career, he must be satisfied what he has done. So that should be looked to prospectively towards that time point, and then look retrospectively. If you have the purpose that you could feel that at the end of your life you will feel accomplished, then that is the success. So you must have something like this.
Wonderful. The existence of a human being. What is the purpose of coming on the planet Earth? What is the meaning? What is the calling of your life? Wonderful words of inspiration. Thank you so much, Dr. Farooq Rafiq Ahmed.
Thank you very much.
To the distinguished listeners that were listening, if the students are confused about their calling, about their purpose in life, I'll be happy to have a one-to-one conversation and one-to-one coaching on career direction, career calling, career purpose. So keep listening to this wonderful initiative of Career Conversations till our next episode. Stay safe and stay joyful and optimistic. Thank you for listening.